You're watching college softball on the SEC Network. It's an absolutely beautiful Friday night for a little non-conference action in Tuscaloosa as number 7 Alabama hosts the North Dakota State Bison out of the Summit League. And we welcome you to the booth here at Rhodes Stadium. Gray Robertson alongside my partner, Allie Shipman. And Allie, we saw Alabama make a big-time statement in a massive doubleheader on Wednesday earlier this week.
Absolutely. What was awesome is that they threw a perfect game using 3 different pitchers and 2 different catchers behind the dish. But what really stood out was their offense that day. Yeah, it's hard to overshadow a perfect game, but the Alabama offense did just that, as it was everybody, 1 through 9, making an impact in those 2 games. Absolutely. They batted around 500 as a team. Production coming up and down the lineup. Brooke Wells with 3 home runs on the day. Just a lot of pop on the bat for Alabama. And a really impressive output, especially considering you were playing 2 high-quality mid-majors, Jacksonville State and North Alabama, and like we talked about, just coming from everywhere in the lineup. And what I love about this is the bounce back. They had a bit of a tough weekend in terms of scoring runs against Missouri, left a lot of runners on base, but this time around, they were productive. They drove in runs and got the job done. So we'll see what the Bats can do tonight against North Dakota State, and we'll see what the freshmen can do in the circle as Vic Moten gets the start for Patrick Murphy. Vic Moten, she has been a phenomenal freshman for the Alabama Crimson Tide. She has a ton of velocity, but her movement is her moneymaker. She's going to go outside with this curveball, also throwing in a drop ball that's going to move downwards, and then finishing it up with a rise ball up in the zone. Works multiple different planes and does a phenomenal job of attacking batters. And here is the lineup that Moten will be attacking for the visiting Bison of North Dakota State. And Star Cortez, the junior out of California, has been a reliable bat throughout her career for NDSU. Star Cortez batting nearly 400 for them, but what's really interesting is she is a multi-tool player, and she decides that herself. Talking to Coach earlier, she has the decision-making of if she's going to do a bunt, a slap, or swing away. Really fun to watch her play. She's on deck for the visitors as we take a look at Amai Hanta, the sophomore from Honolulu, Hawaii, starting off the lineup. Summit League honorable mention a season ago. And the first batter of the game will reach for North Dakota State. Just got right over the leaping Griggs, and there's a man on. Amai Hanta taking this outside pitch, driving it the other way. Does a great job of letting this curveball travel in deep, understanding that it's going to move back to her as a backdoor from Vic Moten. Really great barrel control there. Ruled a single for Hanta, so here is Star Cortez. Junior out of California, another one of those California kids in the lineup for the Bison. You see that average 394, Summit League honorable mention selection last year. If you look at the Summit League ranks, Star Cortez is everywhere. This will be tough for Hubbard. Just in time. And that'll move Hanta to second. 1 down. Hubbard, knowing how fast Cortez is, charging this ball, getting a good hop, and then making the really quick throw. Star Cortez is not a slow runner. She is so fast, so being able to read that hop is key for making those transitions and getting those fast runners out. And we're going to see a challenge here from the head coach for the Bison, Darren Mueller.
North Dakota State would like to challenge the call of out at first base. This play is under further review.
That is really close. Looks like the ball is in the mitt right before her foot hits the bag. It has to be indisputable evidence for them to overturn it. And in my opinion, now I could be wrong, you never know, but that doesn't seem like enough for me to overturn that one.
I think I'm with you, at least on that first look. I didn't see anything that signaled it was clear and obvious that Cortez beat it. And a heck of a throw by Hubbard, because she did not have much time at all.
And that ball wasn't hit very hard. Didn't get to her super quick, but she charged it well. Made a good throw over there. That view looks a little bit closer. You can see why this one's taking a decent amount of time for the umpiring crew down there. Close one. I have bad luck with making these calls up here.
Look, it really doesn't matter the sport. My batting average is not great on trying to predict what a challenge result will be. And I do like this challenge for Coach Mueller as well, because let's say this is changed. You've got 2 on, nobody out, a chance to really set the tone, not just tonight, but for the whole weekend.
Absolutely. Get that momentum going. This would be huge for them. I do agree with you. This is a really good challenge.
After review, the call will stand at first base.
So not enough evidence, and Cortez is retired. 1 down. North Dakota State now down to 1 challenge for the remainder of this game. And that's the one downside of using it so early.
Yes, but either way, that's a productive at bat for them. Moving the runner over, putting her in scoring position for one of your best hitters.
That would be Bella Dean, senior out of Sherrard, Illinois. 2nd team All-Summit League a few years ago, All-Tournament team last year. Batting .343. And against Power 4 teams, hitting .500 so far this season.
And talking to Coach Mueller before the game, he said that she has made a huge mindset shift. She's way more positive this time around, a lot more focused, locked in, and making sure that she's giving herself some grace.
And a lot of that just comes with experience of playing this game as many years as Bella Dean has.
And you know, this is a game of failure. You're going to fail. As a freshman, that can be a hard pill to swallow, knowing that, yes, the competition has gotten better. You're going to struggle a little bit more. That's okay. It's how do I respond from failure that makes players great.
Well, she's also 1st in the Summit League in doubles. Early work for Moten, payoff. Popped up on the infield, and Moten calls everybody off. 2 down. Well, we've already talked a little bit about the head man for the Bison, Darren Mueller. 25th season in North Dakota State as the head coach. 31 years on staff with this program. 6-time Summit League Coach of the Year. Has been to the NCAA tournament 11 times. And I love chatting with him earlier in the week and also pregame today, Allie, because we really got to hear about his philosophy and how he wants to continue to build this program, because he's had to build it in different ways through different eras of the sport. As Bose grounds that past Griggs at short. Honta will come in to score, and North Dakota State's on the board. Bose is safe at 2nd, and the Bison have struck here in the top of the 1st.
Bose does a really good job of just getting speed on this ball. She hits it so hard, really tough play to make, but it's the 2-out base running. She knows it's 2 outs, 2 bases, 0 hesitation, and she's in for an RBI.
Just snuck right under the glove of Griggs at short. And strike 1 to Zoe King, another senior out of California.
But going back to what we were saying earlier, Gray, Coach Mueller, he's been playing around with his strategy on building his culture. He's a firm believer in culture and having players that love to represent North Dakota State. So he's got limited transfers on his roster, which is pretty unique in today's era of softball. And he wants to build that experience from freshman year up, relying on leadership and those who have been there before to kind of lead the way for them.
Which I think kind of makes it ironic that the Bison are on the board thanks to that RBI single from Maya Bose. Good bounce back by Moten to get out of a jam. But the visitors have struck first, and the Alabama bats will come up when you return. North Dakota State will turn to the freshman righty out of Eagan, Minnesota, Jocelyn McClary. We've already seen win Summit League Pitcher of the Week twice this year.
And Jocelyn McClary, she's going to throw in the low 60s, but she's got great spin. She'll work in a rise ball, a curve, a drop, and the changeup. But what's special about her rise ball is she can throw it at multiple planes. Not only will they be up in the zone, but some of them will move through the zone as a low rise. Really deceptive to these Alabama hitters.
And here's the lineup of Alabama hitters as she'll face Vandegrift leading off and Brooke Wells, who had 3 home runs in that midweek doubleheader on Wednesday. An offense that, as we talked about in the open, was going through it a bit in that series up in Columbia against Missouri, but really seemed to swing with confidence on Wednesday.
You could tell they had plans up at the plate. They were taking confident hacks.
There's a nice bunt by Vandegrift, and the throw is way late. The All-American is aboard after a little small ball to start things off.
This is a picture-perfect bunt by Audrey Vandegrift. Gets it off the end of the bat, which causes this ball to die. A really tough ball for the defense to field, and Audrey Vandegrift is on base once again.
Now we'll see if she steals. That's been a little tougher for her this year. Last season, Vandegrift set a freshman record in stolen bases. This year, just 8 of 12. 1-0 to Brooke Wells.
And the catcher for NDSU, Jessica De La Torre, top 50 NCAA in caught stealing. She's pretty effective back there in reducing the run game.
No one misses to Wells. Well, and that's the other element as well. With a 3-0 count on Brooke Wells, you also don't want to run a base runner off base for a producer like Wells, the Houston transfer out of Round Rock.
Especially since she hit 800 on the day during the midweek. She's been very consistent, not just with the long ball, but just putting the ball in play hard every time.
Batting .442 at home this year. And she takes ball 4. So a bunt, single, and a walk, and Alabama's trying to answer here in the bottom of the first.
This is just, once again, another mature and committed at-bat for Brooke Wells. She knows exactly what she's hunting. She's very tuned in to that one pitch that she can drive hard, and if it's not there, she's taking all the way.
And a great chance for Alexis Papillo. Senior out of Crystal Lake, Illinois.
And what's tough about this Alabama lineup is you have Brooke Wells, but then you have Alexis Papillo right behind her, who has 12 home runs on the year. and who's also hitting .458. So it's really tough to get through this Alabama lineup with how much production they have.
Had a great couple years at Northern Iowa, transferred here, second year in Tuscaloosa, hitting .500 at Rhodes this season, and she's drawn it to 3-0.
The free passes have been a bit of an issue for NDSU as of late. 133 walks to 131 strikeouts, so about even there.
Papillo fouls that one away.
I think the key to success for NDSU pitching today is limit the free passes.
Clary trying to get an out here in the inning. Patrick Murphy has to do-si-do away from that foul ball. And there's ball 4. Well, Alabama's loaded them up, and a great chance to answer right back. Delatorre will go have a word with the freshman McClary, and North Dakota State needs to bear down here.
And one of the big things that Coach Mueller was talking to us about was limiting the big innings, trying to slow the game down. Sometimes innings felt fast, but he did say that Jocelyn McClary has a calm presence about her, and so that starts on the mound. If you can have a calm presence on the mound, the rest of your team can feed off of that. So this is a great opportunity for the freshman in the circle to take a deep breath, lead her team, and try to get them out of this inning.
Well, she's thrown very well this year against Power 4 competition, Minnesota and Iowa State, a 1.12 ERA across 2 appearances. Now taking on the Tide, and a first pitch ball to Anna Roman, the freshman, putting up fantastic numbers, hitting just .214 though in the last 5 games.
Anna Roman, one of those hitters that when you watch her, you would not guess that she's a freshman. Very relaxed, very mature in her at-bats, in her decision-making. Knows exactly what she wants to hit even there. That's a great changeup by McClary, but probably not in that count what Roman wants to hit.
.31 is high, and that's an RBI walk for Roman. Just like that, Alabama ties it up.
Roman doing a good job of learning from the at-bats ahead of her. She's seen the few walks, knows to be patient, especially with bases loaded. It's easy to get those jitters, to get excited and to start swinging away, but she was very calm and very mature in that last at-bat.
Giles, first pitch out to right. Backing up and making the grab is Claus. That'll be good enough to score Wells, and Alabama's trying to steal another one, and Papillo's out. Good awareness by the Bison defense to make sure they didn't fall asleep at the end. It's 2-1, but 2 outs.
Ella Claus throwing this ball in, and then it's Delatorre making a phenomenal tag here. She reaches with her left hand, goes only with 1. If you go with 2 right there, it limits your reach, but she does a great job reaching over with 1 hand, getting the out.
And all the action, Roman took third. Anyway, first pitch ball to Larissa Pruitt as she celebrates her senior day.
Phenomenal player for Alabama Crimson Tide. Patrick Murphy says she has just grown so much, is such a joy to coach, very positive, a great teammate, great player, and a great person all around.
Yeah, told us that she committed in the parking lot of an Olive Garden. Sent us a picture of it, which was quite sweet. And they've got the 11 signs out here at Rhodes, full of the fun facts that the seniors love to let the fans know about. And there are some really good ones about Larissa Pruitt on this sheet.
I like that she has a tailless cat named Goose. That's my favorite fun fact on this sheet. I have to meet this tailless cat.
Is that your plan tonight? Watch UCLA, Nebraska, meet the tailless cat?
Meet the tailless cat.
Her go-to karaoke song is Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Classic. It's a good one.
Pruitt looking for left, but on the run is Nieto to make the grab. And it's just a pair for the Tide. 2-1 Alabama after one here in Tuscaloosa. Well, fans young and old enjoying the show here at Rhodes, and an active first inning. So Alabama leads North Dakota State 2-1. And we journey on to the second. Speaking of journeys, that's pretty much been this whole season for North Dakota State, racking up the hotel points, the frequent flyer miles. First 34 games of the season on the road, jet setting across the entire country, and I'm sure really wearing out that suitcase ship.
Absolutely, and the hard part about this, especially as a player, is you're never sleeping in your own bed. You're never at home. You don't have that comfort of home. So it can really take a toll on you mentally, physically, and then being around the same group of people so often can take a toll as well. But after talking to Coach Mueller, he said he's done some really fun things to keep that team bonding alive. They had a family beach day earlier in the year where everybody got to go down to the beach. They brought all their families with them, and some of the players said it was the highlight of their year so far, just being able to spend time with their families, which I think is so fun.
Just sounds absolutely delightful, hanging out on the beach. Don't get many chances to do stuff like that during the season.
No, especially with how crazy softball schedules are.
Looks like something got into the outfield. Lauren Johnson will make sure it gets off the field. Is that a chip bag?
Little snack out there for Larissa Pruitt.
Happy Senior Day. Lily Nieto, the sophomore out of Billings, Montana. Trying to start this second inning right. And she gets hit. Probably not how she wanted to reach, but the leadoff is aboard yet again for North Dakota State.
And this is just a rise ball that runs a little in for Vic Moten. Luckily, Nieto does a good job of rolling into that. When you know a ball is coming inside and you might get hit, your best bet is to roll your shoulders back, protect yourself as much as you can without having to get all the way out of the way.
Second baseman number 20, Taylor Warren.
Ball one to Taylor Warren, another Californian on the roster, junior out of Santee, California. Bunted. Moten's throw is in time, but a nice sacrifice by Warren to move the runner.
Warren does a really good job of laying down this sacrifice bunt. Goes just about straight to Vic Moten, maybe a few feet over, and she may have been safe on that, but nonetheless, a great sack bunt moves your runner over.
And that's going to be the key for North Dakota State, executing every chance you get. Can't waste opportunities in this two-game weekend series against Alabama. Jessica De La Torre, the sophomore out of California, batting .216 on the year, but hitting .400 in the last 5 games, including a home run.
And this is a great opportunity for her. Runner in scoring position, 1 out. Try to pick up your teammate that just laid down the sack bunt to put you in this position.
Chase is there. Second strikeout for Moten, 2 down.
Vic Moten, this is a high velocity curveball on the outer edge. Lots of spin, lots of movement. It's going to tail away. And another strikeout for Vic Moten.
Now the senior Ella Claus out of Redmond, Washington. Summer League All-Tournament pick a couple years ago. One-two stop by Giles, and a good block to keep it in front.
That's a really great block by Marley Giles. Does a good job of keeping her chest over on top of that pitch to make sure that when it bounces off of her, it goes straight back in front of her for her to pick it up.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Moten, and the leadoff hit by pitch does no harm. The freshman starting to pick it up a bit.
Vic Moten going upstairs with this low rise ball. Does a really great job of getting underneath it. We'll see if Alabama can put some more on the board when we come back.
Alabama up 2-1 on North Dakota State as we go to the bottom of the second. Glad that you're here with us on this Friday night. I know a lot going on around the sports world this evening. But we're pleased that you're tuning in. Gray Robertson and Allie Shipman and our entire crew. Alabama had the bases loaded, nobody out. On a sac fly, got 1 run after an RBI walk. So as a team, 1 for 2 in this game, but 7-8-9 due up in the bottom of the second, and a starting strike to the Iowa transfer, Jenna Young, who was absolutely fantastic on Wednesday against Jacksonville State.
Jenny Young was seeing the ball so well for them, and talking to Coach Patrick Murphy, he said it's been really awesome to see her kind of grind through this. She had a bit of a dip in her numbers, but she kept her head on right, kept working, and it showed up for her on Wednesday.
Had the go-ahead 3-run homer. Game was tied at 3, and then suddenly it wasn't. Full count.
Jenny Young doing a really good job of working this count back in her favor. Fouls off a couple pitches, takes a couple pitches, and now full count for her.
McClary looking to start the inning well, but it's Young who finds a gap. All the way to the wall, cut off right in front by Cortez, but an easy double for Jenny Young to start off the second.
Jenna Young does a really good job of capitalizing on this ball that's left lower in the zone. She had seen a couple up pitches earlier in this at bat, waits for that low one, gets her barrel underneath, and drives it into the gap for a double.
Well, and that 3-2 pitch, that was something that Coach Murphy said they've really been working on the last few weeks.
Absolutely. In practice, they've been dialing that in, trying to work on situational hitting and hitting with different counts, trying to be more productive in all counts, making sure that you're attacking the pitch that you want to hit in the zone and laying off that pitch out of the zone to take your walk.
Sophomore Maddie Hubbard out of Huntsville, Alabama. Interestingly, not using the same bat that she used after hers broke, with which she hit a home run.
I'm a little superstitious. If that were me, I'd probably be using the same exact bat.
Hubbard in the air to left. Backing up is Nieto to make the grab for out number 1.
And Hubbard just misses on this one. Gets her caught up on the hands, jammed up just enough for a nice easy fly ball for Nieto to make the grab.
Well, we'll see if she makes the switch her second time up. Down to the 9 hitter, the freshman Garrett Griggs.
McClary doing a much better job this inning of attacking those hitters, working ahead, pounding the zone. Pitch calling and pitching in general is a lot easier when you work ahead to these batters. You have more room to work up in the zone, down, out and away. Instead of feeling like you have to throw a perfect pitch, now you have a little bit of wiggle room to kind of let your spin do its thing.
And Coach Mueller told us McClary was going to start getting even more innings, considering how well she's pitched this year. Nice play, it's short, but it got away. Young will come in to score. And a miscue on the infield will give Alabama a 3-1 lead.
And this ball is hit so hard, it chops really high. So Belladine is going to have to charge, tries to make a throw on the run, a little bit of sidearm. And to me, I think Zoe King just may have stretched a little bit early. If you stretch too soon as a first baseman, you limit your reach. And if that throw isn't exactly where you expect it to be, it's really hard to adjust.
There is an error. We'll see which player gets charged, and it will go to King at first. That has been the one area where North Dakota State has struggled this year, that fielding percentage, and now Griggs will be able to take second. So that one got all the way to the backstop.
This is a good read by Griggs, and really tough play for De La Torre behind the dish. A good time for Coach Mueller to call timeout and talk to his infield, talk to his pitcher, try to slow some things down, and that was the big thing that he talked to us about as well.
Yeah, we've seen the freshman pitcher McClary seemingly kind of start to settle in a little bit more, but now I think the rest of the infield needs to catch up in slowing down this game against top 10 Alabama at the Rhodes House.
And everybody kind of feeds off of each other, and so it's hard to stop that bleeding. When your infield makes an error, the big thing is in the circle, now I have to stop the bleeding myself, and vice versa. If your pitcher's starting to struggle, then as a defense, you need to know you have to have her back. So being able to pick each other up is really key in these situations.
Well, in all the chaos, Griggs stands on second after the error and the wild pitch. Now 1-2 count on Vandegrift, who singled and scored in the first.
Another full count moment for NDSU. McClary trying to work back in this one.
Vandegrift lifts that to center field. Cortez will back up. Griggs will tag up. It's a good throw, but she's able to slide in safely.
Audrey Vandegrift just misses this, but Star Cortez with a pretty good throw. Garrett Griggs just takes a great jump, solid slide to get underneath that tag. Good heads-up base running by Garrett Griggs.
So far, Brooke Wells has not gotten much to look at. A walk her first time up, came in to score.
It's a really good spot there by McClary. Curveball on the outer half, just gets enough of the corner. It's a really hard pitch to hit as a hitter. I think if you can live there.
Wells is jammed, but backing up is Dean to make the grab. And it's just the one run for Alabama. 3-1 tied going to the third in Tuscaloosa. It was a special day all around on Wednesday for Alabama, but it was capped off with the 11th perfect game in program history. Jocelyn Brisky, Ailey Johnson, and Brea Hodges combining against a good North Alabama team and really just absolutely owning the Lions on Wednesday in that second game of the doubleheader.
What's really fun about this is it was so many different pitchers contributing to this, but still 8 strikeouts to 0 free passes. That is the big thing that sticks out to me. We talked earlier, if you can limit the free passes, pitch calling gets easier, pitching itself gets easier, defense is easier, and so limiting those free passes is a huge thing for this Alabama Crimson Tide.
Well, and the amazing part is I'm not sure we've talked to a single person involved with the team who said they knew it was a perfect game until it happened.
It was a very chill, perfect game.
You know, super low key, as all perfect games are.
It's almost better that way. Once again, I'm superstitious. You'd rather have nobody know.
Well, you know, we're a part of a couple that Montana Fouts threw in 2023.
And you never talk about it. You might be aware, but the rule is never talk about it, just let it happen.
Honta swings and misses, and it seems like Vic Moten is starting to get a little bit more comfortable as this game goes on.
Vic Moten showing the versatility in her pitches. She's going to go to the drop ball on this one, and the rotation on that pitch is so deceiving. It's very tight, north to south spin, very hard to decipher that between her rise ball.
Star Cortez grounded out back in the first. Where the wind has been interesting tonight. It's died in moments right now, really gusting in.
That's another factor of the game that is rarely talked about. Wind blowing in versus out changes your approach as a batter in some cases. If it's really blowing in hard, you know that you can't quite get underneath the ball and send it over the fence.
Right now, North Dakota State struggling to put it in play against Moten. Back-to-back Ks here in the third, and 4 straight by the freshman.
Vic Moten going the other way with this one, the rise ball, but look at the spin. It's got the same exact look as that drop ball, as a hitter that is so tough. When you're going up there trying to attack a pitcher, a lot of the times you read spin as a batter, and if that spin looks exactly the same out of the hand, they're tunneling that pitch well. By the time you go to decide your swing, your bat path may already be too late.
And Vic Moten strikes out the side. The freshman is cooking with gas. A little grin as she goes to the dugout. And she's got another in this game.
Vic Moten going to another pitch here. She goes with the curveball away for another strikeout. Alabama will look to hit when we come back.
Going to the bottom of the third here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama leads North Dakota State 3-1. Gray Robertson and Allie Shipman in the booth. Pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Bison, Darren Mueller. And Coach, as they continue to stack decorations on your head, I want to ask about Jocelyn McClary, because it was kind of a shaky start, but it seems like she's settling in. What has she shown you differently as this game has gone on?
Yeah, you're right. I think she got the nerves, going a little bit that first inning, and just went out there and just told her she was kind of getting off her power line a little bit, and just to kind of just relax, have fun with this, and this is a great atmosphere, so just enjoy this and just keep on competing.
And Coach, being in an atmosphere like this, what does this mean for you and for your team to get an opportunity?
Oh, this is great. Coach Murph has just done a great job, very hospitable with us here, and it's always a great opportunity when you play a program like Alabama, and we're trying to take as much advantage of it as we can.
Absolutely, Coach. Thank you for the time, and best of luck taking off the headset with all of that on top of your head.
All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Darren Mueller, I have just a million questions about whatever that tiny green thing is on the dugout. I mean, what?
I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even begin to guess. Maybe it's a good luck charm.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah, we'll have to tune back into that.
3-4-5 against McClary. Papillo starting it off with Roman and Giles behind, and the freshman has indeed settled in a little bit more as this game has gone on. She walked Papillo back in the first.
Really good changeup there by McClary, but I think she's doing a better job of attacking the zone. She's nibbling at the corners a little bit more, making sure that she's giving the umpire a consistent look.
We've talked about it some over the years. When you're facing a team with a lot of pop like Alabama, how important is it to have that changeup and have it be a reliable pitch?
It's super important. Timing is everything as a hitter. So if you're a pitcher and you can adjust the timing, that is a huge key to success. I feel like one of the big battles as a hitter is consistently being able to adjust your timing. You got to be a little bit earlier here, a little bit later there. So when you're facing a pitcher with that off speed, that's always kind of lingering in the back of your head. Will she throw the off speed here? So you may be that much later on the fastball. So it kind of trickles into everything you do as a hitter. Like right there. Alexis Papillo just a little bit late on that fastball, knowing that McClary has that off speed to go to.
We've seen the freshman for the Bison go to that changeup a few times already tonight. See where she goes on another 3-2. Papillo golfs that out to right and right into the waiting glove of Ella Claus for out number 1.
That's a good cut by Papillo, doing a good job of getting her barrel underneath, but right at Ella Claus in right field. Overall, I do think that's a great at-bat on McClary's part as well. Worked up in the zone, down in the zone, and her off speed. And you see it right there again, mixing that in a little bit more as we see this game go on.
RBI walk for Anna Roman in the first inning. So let's talk about it from the Alabama perspective. You're getting a lot of changeups. How important is the conversation amongst the hitters as they face McClary a second time?
Well, there's a couple different ways you can go about attacking a pitcher who's going to be changeup heavy. You can, one, go up there sitting fastball, reacting changeup. You could go up there sitting changeup. And that really differs as who you are as a hitter. You have to know yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? I was a react changeup girl. I very rarely went up there sitting change just because we all know I like to swing at multiple things. So if I saw a fastball near the zone, I was swinging. But if you're a more patient hitter, you can wait for that changeup, sit it, attack it, and there's just different ways that you can approach hitting a changeup pitcher.
The queen of the first pitch swing, Allie Shipman. It worked out for you.
Hey, if you're on time, you can do anything.
There's ball 4, and Roman has walked twice tonight.
Roman, another great example of her maturity. Fouls off a couple changeups, is up there with a plan, sees that rise ball up and out of the zone, takes it for ball 4.
Ball 1 to Marley Giles, who had that sac fly. Brought in a run in the first inning. Also led to 2 outs.
It's a really good defensive play by NDSU on that one. Good throw in, great tag at the plate.
And we talked about this a little bit on Wednesday. The numbers keep getting better, though, for Marley Giles, having the best season of her career as a senior, hitting .386, and really doing a lot of that damage. Uh-oh. Roman safe at first after, I think, believing that was ball 4.
It's a good job by De La Torre behind the dish, keeping Roman honest. But going back to Marley Giles, talking to Coach Murphy, he said she almost just decided this season it was going to be different. She came in with a confidence, with poise about her. She's always had the ability, but now she brought the mental aspect to it as well.
Well, continually drawing free passes. And now 2 on 1 out for Larissa Pruitt on her senior day. And the signs are back out. Lined out in the first. Well, as we look at the fact sheet yet again, I can't help but clock the final bullet point that says Larissa might be addicted to coffee. From what I understand, her first search on road trips is to find the nearest Starbucks.
And I respect that. Me too, girly.
You feel seen?
I feel very seen.
Well, and this was the ceremony for Larissa Pruitt. Something Alabama does for each senior throughout the season, a special video, and then honored on field with family, celebrating with the teammates, and then Larissa's dad threw the first pitch. Really special time. I know you loved your senior day when you had it here.
And it's just a good reminder that it's more than just softball, it's more than just a game. It's the people that you meet, the relationships that you gain. Being able to celebrate that time with your family and your teammates is something really special. I did cry a lot on my senior day too.
Now Pruitt trying to produce. That 1-0 will drift foul. There's another bullet point that might be one of the most interesting I've ever seen. It says that Larissa's favorite activity in high school was to bust up the beaver dams in the creek behind her house.
So if I'm interpreting this correctly, she goes out and just like demolishes beaver dams.
Beaver dams. She hits that out to left field. Well struck again. Nieto makes the grab. Roman's trying for third. And North Dakota State's got a double play to wrap up the inning. The outfield for the Bison keeps on making plays, and that'll wrap up the third.
Larissa Pruitt, this is a really well-struck ball, but Lily Nieto getting behind it, working through the ball, and then making an absolute dart of a throw for the end of the inning.
Well, the kids in the Brickyard having a good old time as Alabama leads North Dakota State 3-1, go into the 4th inning here at Rhodes. And now we're joined by the Hall of Famer, Alabama head coach Patrick Murphy. And Coach, Vic Moten had a little bit of a shaky start, but 5 straight strikeouts in this game. What have you liked about the way she's bounced back these last few innings?
Just that. She's bounced back, you know. Gave up, I think, 2 hits over here to left field, and they were very close. Garrett almost had the one on the leadoff, but she's been throwing really, really hard, hitting her spots. Her drop ball looked good last inning, so hopefully she can keep doing it.
And, Coach, as you celebrate her senior day, what has having Larissa Pruitt on your team meant to you?
Well, number one, she's an Alabama young lady from Hartselle, and that's first and foremost. She knows what Alabama's all about, and I'm sure you guys saw her senior video. She told her parents, I think at age 7, that she wanted to play softball at Alabama, and that's the type of kid that we want here. And she has been a terrific ambassador for the university, at the athletic department, and most of all, our team. On and off the field, she's a great young lady.
That's fantastic. Thank you for the time, Coach.
Yeah, thanks for being here, you guys.
It's Alabama head coach Patrick Murphy speaking glowingly about Larissa Pruitt on her senior day. One of 2 senior days this weekend. Abby Ducher will have hers tomorrow.
Just a fun day all around, celebrating with your team, celebrating with your family. It can be a little nerve-wracking at times, though. You feel a little bit of pressure. You got to put the ball in play on your senior day.
I was going to ask you, is there an added level of stress, internal stress, trying to come through on your senior day, so it's one of those quote-unquote good senior day memories?
You know, well, I was told that it had been a long time since somebody had gone over on their senior day. And then, of course, that's exactly what I did. But I lived. You live to see another day. So it does happen. You feel some of those jitters, especially having so many people come out to support you. But at the end of the day, it's the same game.
There's a strike to Maya Bose, sophomore out of Montana. Coach Mueller was telling us that Bose and Nieto pregame were relishing the moment. They've always wanted to play Alabama at the Rhodes House. And we've already seen Maya Bose make an impact with that RBI single in the first.
And they've been longtime friends and spent time on the bench earlier before the game, just taking it all in, being grateful for the ability to play softball in front of a great crowd. Really cool to see.
Bose battling with Moten. 2-2. There's that nasty drop ball. Giles will make the tag to secure things, and that is 6 straight Ks for Vic Moten.
Vic Moten again going down in the zone with this drop ball. She gets on top of it, and Marley Giles, knowing that she has to pick this ball and immediately tag the runner for the strikeout.
What's the biggest difference that you've noticed in Vic Moten from the first 2 innings to the last 2?
Presence. Honestly, I think her presence out there just speaks for itself. She seems a lot more confident, a lot more poised, trusting her spin a little bit more. Sometimes when you try to be too perfect with placement, you lose the movement. She's kind of just trusting her movement at this point.
Well, the freshman had been going through it a little bit in her last few appearances. A 4.23 ERA for Moten in her last 4. But settling in here, and that's massive, especially considering the series on the horizon. You've got Texas coming to Rhodes next weekend in what's sure to be a top 10 battle.
And you have to know, as a freshman pitcher coming in, you're bound to have some bumps and bruises now and then. It's how you respond to it. Everybody, we talked earlier about this is a game of failure. That's tough as a freshman to understand that, but being able to continue to learn, go back, watch your film, reevaluate, and then just get stronger as the season goes on.
Another one. This is quite a run. 7 straight strikeouts for Vic Moten.
Vic Moten going back to this drop ball, but this time it is inside. This is such a difficult pitch for a right-handed batter to handle. Great spin on it, and another strikeout for Vic Moten.
8 total, but 7 in a row. Lily Nieto quickly down 0-2.
Vic Moten and Coach Lance McMahon doing a really good job of mixing pitches, going up, going down, utilizing all of her strengths.
Oh, man. Vic Moten can't be stopped right now. 8 straight strikeouts, and for the 2nd straight inning, she retires the side with the K.
Another great example of Vic Moten splitting the zone. She goes up in the zone for this strikeout. Alabama looking to hit when we come back.
Boy, oh boy. I know it's not quite April yet, but it's hard not to get excited about all that lies ahead the rest of this softball season, conference play, the NCAA tournament, and all the discussion that goes into how the teams are seeded in the NCAA tournament, which includes the RPI. So Alabama in the 5 spot entering yesterday, number 4 right now. It's really the top 5 has rotated all up and down throughout the last couple weeks outside of Tennessee up at number 1. But it's an Alabama team that when you get that RPI number that's really strong at the very beginning when that metric first comes out, the important thing is making sure you stay up there so that your profile can look as strong as possible for the selection committee.
Absolutely. You want to heat up at the right times. If you start off really strong, but then you taper off as the season goes on, that RPI may not be as strong. So you have to work to continually keep that RPI up because it is really important when it comes down to postseason and seeding, finding out where you're going to be.
And we should make sure we mention the committee doesn't seed only on RPI, but when you look at the RPI, it can show you kind of which teams are in the mix for what, hosting a super, hosting a regional, making the field.
And it kind of weighs in a couple different things than just straight up wins and losses. It looks at who you've played and who they've played after that. So it's kind of a bigger picture view, if you will.
Good start to the inning for Jenna Young. She draws a walk. Yeah, here is how they conjure up the RPI. You've got the winning percentage, strength of schedule, an opponent's strength of schedule. They've also got KPI in the mix for the selection criteria. The DSR ranking is new as well. That's actually on the NCAA team sheets.
Especially with them changing the way that they seed this year, kind of looking at a few different metrics, getting a bigger picture. We'll see a new style in that NCAA tournament this year, which will be exciting.
Last year, the SEC had 7 top 8 national seeds. We'll see if they can get close to that number with kind of that big-ish gap in the standings and, frankly, in the RPI as well. Hubbard tomahawks that to left, but I think the wind is just killing everything on that side. Catch made by Nieto for the first out.
Maddie Hubbard getting on top of this ball, notices the rise ball up in the zone, stays level with her hands, drives it really, really hard, but just right at Lily Nieto in left field.
First pitch to Garrett Griggs, low for ball 1. When you're a right-handed hitter and you love to pull the ball, how do you adjust to going against the wind like Maddie Hubbard just was a moment ago?
Well, I think you just have to work gap to gap, understand that you're looking more for doubles and singles rather than trying to lift the ball for a home run. There's a lot of different angles in your shoulders and, you know, your barrel that you can control how you hit the ball and how steep you hit the ball.
Clary just keeps plugging along right now. A lot of foul balls. Pitch count is high, but again, she's done a really good job limiting the damage for Alabama.
I've been really impressed with her bounce back ability. Had a few shaky innings, stayed really calm, really poised, worked through the zone, continued to just trust her stuff. And here we are, bottom of the 4th, and she's still plugging along.
Kind of the theme for both freshman pitchers in this game. Tough starts, but finding a rhythm. The only play is to first by Bose, and there's 2 down.
Good job by McClary, working away to this left-handed slapper. Gets an easy couple bouncer to Bose. Good throw. Overall, great play.
Now back to the top of the order with Vandegrift. Bunt single and a run in the first, and a well-struck flyout that the wind stopped her second time up.
And Audrey Vandegrift coming off of an All-American freshman year. This is one of those batters for the Alabama lineup that you'd love to see start heating up before you continue into SEC play.
And you see what Vandegrift did last year, 2nd team All-American, that Alabama freshman record, 50 stolen bases. And I'll be honest, when Coach Murphy was talking about how important this weekend was just to get everyone's confidence up ahead of that clash with Texas next weekend, Vandegrift was the first name that popped up in my head.
Absolutely, and sophomore year can be so tough. We've talked about it before. Everybody has film on you now. You now feel expectations as well. But I think for Vandegrift, it comes down to confidence, taking committed cuts, trusting her plan. She is so talented and so athletic, just going out there and trusting that.
Another long at-bat for an Alabama hitter. This next pitch will be the 90th for the freshman Jocelyn McClary. Vandegrift in the air to left. It's tailing from Nieto, who makes a great grab. This time the wind made it tougher on the outfielder, but Nieto is able to secure it.
Lily Nieto running a long way for this. She sticks with it, sticks her glove out, and NDSU will look to respond when we come back.
Well, it was a tough opening couple innings for Vic Moten, but she has settled into a major groove.
Absolutely. She looks so much more confident up on the mound, and she's utilizing all of her pitches, getting some strikeouts on the up, on the down, even those curveballs away, trusting her spin and working through the zone, looking really good for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Well, making it easy on our crew in the truck because you just had to pull the last 8 batters. 9 strikeouts overall, but 8 straight Ks. And the pitch count down at 58. Gave up those 2 hits early in that 1 run in the first inning, but absolutely nails since the very start. Facing the bottom of the Bison order. Warren. Vandergrift plays it right, 1 down.
And if you're NDSU right now, you have to start picking a height. When you have a pitcher that splits the zone up and down, you have to sit one specific height. It's a different barrel angle either way, different timing. So you either go up there committed to the drop ball or you go up there committed to the rise ball. When you try to hit both, that's when you get into trouble.
Jessica Della Torre struck out back in the second. That fly out to center field did end the strikeout streak for Vic Moten. And maybe a new streak starting. Giles did make the tag, and Della Torre is retired. Strikeout number 10 for Vic Moten.
Vic Moten continuing to stay on fire, goes down in the zone with this drop ball, pushes the envelope outside and down. Marley Giles doing a really good job of picking this ball. And you've got 2 options, either tag the runner or throw to first, and Marley Giles hunts her down for the tag out.
Ella Claus 0 for 1 with a K. Which did you like, the tag or the throw?
Oh, I was a throw. I mean, if they don't move out of the box, tag. But in that case, I was just thinking to myself, I'm probably throwing. I wasn't the speediest of people. Call myself middle ground.
I mean, you don't want to stress the legs any more than you have to.
No. Giles is very athletic, very quick back there, pops up out of her squad really well. I think she made the right decision for how athletic she is.
2-2 to Claus is swung on and missed. Moten doesn't strike out the side, but the total's up to 11. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. Alabama still up 3-1.
to deep left field. That one is gone.
Sends one deep. Back it goes.
Boy, a lot of great softball all weekend long. You've got a couple linear matchups between Texas A&M and Texas. Oklahoma LSU game 3 is on ESPN on Sunday, and we've already seen a massive shocker in the SEC tonight, as previously winless in the league Ole Miss takes down Tennessee 2-1. A fantastic complete game victory for Emily Boyer in the Circle. Alabama sitting at 7-2 in the SEC, perhaps celebrating their conference play off week the right weekend, because the wild scores are still rolling around, and we'll get to those in a minute. But man, it's been an interesting Friday night in the SEC.
Absolutely, and this conference is just...
Oh, Brooke Wells. Wow. Off the top of the scoreboard. She might have broken something. Solo homer, and it's 4-1.
My goodness, Brooke Wells getting this pitch that's left over the heart of the plate, gets behind this ball, stays in her tilt. That back elbow stays inside the ball, and she absolutely drives this ball straight into the scoreboard.
I mean, they'll have to make sure everything's working on the top of that scoreboard, and maybe most impressively, that was not only into the scoreboard, but into the wind.
That is one of the hardest hit balls I have seen in a very long time, and she continues to stay hot.
Papillo opposite way. Nieto can't find it, and it is a ground rule double. Papillo will have to go back to second. But now the Alabama Power Alley is stepping up big time in the 5th inning.
Alexis Papillo goes opposite field with this. She is towing the line, gets this drop ball on the outer half, goes down to get it. And because she's a lefty, this ball is going to have some tail to it and the wind, so it's going to move towards that line. Lily Nieto misplayed it a little bit, not understanding the curve of that ball because it's coming off of a lefty bat, and ends up in a ground rule double for Alexis Papillo.
Well, the wind has been a story, but Alabama's starting to square up McClary, and her night is done. New pitcher coming for North Dakota State. We'll tell you who it is when we return in Tuscaloosa. First pitch ball to Anna Roman by the new pitcher for North Dakota State, the junior righty out of St. James, Minnesota, Addie Bowers.
And Addie Bowers is going to be in the low 60s. She's going to work her rise and her changeup, but she's going to have a bit of a different view with that rise ball. She'll work it at different levels, come in for a low rise, a mid rise, and that up in the zone high rise. And her changeup has a tendency to run inside to righty batters, which can be really effective.
Comes in for Jocelyn McClary, who had pitched well, but just ran into Brooke Wells. And then a double by Alexis Papillo prompted the change by Coach Mueller.
And that is the heart of that Alabama lineup. Those two batters back to back, really tough, especially seeing Jocelyn McClary a few times through the lineup, starting to get their timing down. I think that's a good call by Coach Mueller. But McClary had a really good outing. She attacked the zone well, started mixing in her off speed a little bit more. Brooke Wells was just sitting right on that off speed.
And now for the third time tonight, Anna Roman draws a walk.
And if you're NDSU, this is one of those moments to start to slow the inning down. We had talked to Coach Mueller earlier about limiting the big inning, trying to slow everything down, take a deep breath, and this is a good moment to start practicing that.
Well, I approve of Jocelyn McClary's grabbing of the Cheez-Its in the dugout after her night concludes.
It's a phenomenal mid-game snack pick.
It's a substantial, and now she's gone Rice Krispie treats. So.
I mean, back-to-back great snack picks by her.
And look, there's that green thing again.
We'll have to ask for tomorrow's game, see what that green
entity
friend is.
Friend and entity, always tough. Well, North Dakota State has been utilizing the luck drawn by the green friend entity, but Alabama is threatening to bust it open. A 4-pitch walk to Giles loads the bases again, but this time it'll be Larissa Pruitt on her senior day.
Marley Giles once again learning from the at-bats ahead of her. And now you've got a great opportunity for the seniors celebrating this day, coming up with bases loaded.
Pruitt is 0 for 2, but both have been absolutely striped to the outfield.
2 balls that I think without the wind maybe fall for some hits, but she has been barreling up the ball really well today.
Now a timeout call by Coach Mueller. North Dakota State picks 6th in the Summit League preseason poll. A conference that has a long, proud tradition of really making noise in the NCAA tournament. This program's been 11 times, went to the 2009 Super Regionals.
And talking to Coach Mueller, he said that the Summit League continues to get stronger and stronger. They've had such great pitching throughout the years and continues to be very competitive.
And there's a preseason poll. Omaha picked to win the league. Alabama fans will recognize St. Thomas. They were in Tuscaloosa earlier this year, where Ella Cook was absolutely outstanding in a pair of games against the Tide. South Dakota State, another one of those programs, always seems to find good pitchers that are tough outs in the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. It just goes to show that there is so much talent across the board in softball. There's a home for everybody. If you're a young softball player out there looking to play in college, there's so many different places with different opportunities, different cultures, about finding the one that fits you best.
Well, now the pitching for North Dakota State will have to bear down. Addie Bowers against Larissa Pruitt with the bases loaded. Stopped by Bowers, and the throw home will get Papillo for out number 1.
This is a good play by Bowers. Sometimes those balls hit right back at you, can be so tough. This comes off the bat hard. She sticks her glove out there, knows that she's got to make a play at the plate. And De La Torre coming out hot, trying to get Larissa Pruitt for the second out. Not quite there.
Alabama tonight is 0 for 10 with runners on and 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. And after really stepping up in the midweek in those categories, this is more along the lines of what the Tide was putting together in Columbia against Missouri.
Absolutely. Struggling to drive those runners in.
Jenna Young, again, the wind stalls that in center field. Everyone will move up and a run will come across. And as the sac fly brings in Roman to make it 5-1.
And Jenny Young doing a really good job of getting on top of this rise ball, getting enough of it and deep enough into the wind to score that run. But I really love the heads-up defense by Star Cortez out there, knowing she's not going to get the play at home plate, so going to third to keep a runner from advancing.
Now you've got Maddie Hubbard, another one who's hit it well twice, both flyouts to Nieto and left. Hubbard lines that over to short, and the catch is made to retire the side. An inning where Brooke Wells got it started with power.
And Brooke Wells just sitting on this changeup is perfectly on time for this pitch. Gets her barrel behind the ball and drives it into the scoreboard. NDSU will look to respond when we come back. Well, on a night where the wind is howling, Alabama leads North Dakota State 5-1. Going to the top of the 6th inning, and maybe that wind is helping out Vic Moten, because after a shaky inning and a half, it has been absolute shutdown softball from the freshman, and the strikeout numbers the last 2 outings have been just astronomical. She's done a really good job of bouncing back after a tough weekend against Mizzou. Had a pretty tough outing, but she's going in and attacking these batters. She's trusting her pitch call, trusting herself and her pitches, and trusting her catcher, Marley Giles, behind the dish.
As you saw right there, Moten 1 away from tying her career high in strikeouts that she collected earlier in the week. As Coach Mueller collects all the Alabama defensive changes that have come into effect here in this inning. Same with us, we're trying to keep up as well. new formation of the outfield. Kristen White has moved to center with Vandegrift taking left and now Pruitt out and right. And then over at first base, the North Dakota native Abby Dukeshire, who we will surely see in the lineup tomorrow on her senior day against the Bison.
And these defensive changes are something that you'll see a lot from this Alabama team. Kristen White, very reliable, very strong in that center field spot. A lot of range. Abby Dukeshire played a lot of first base last year. Not new to her over there either.
Two-0 count on Honta. Honta started the game with a single, came around to score in the first inning.
And Amai Honta has had a bit of a different hand positioning and rhythm in her load this year. And talking to Coach Mueller about it, he says he wants to see a little bit more consistency in that hand placement, finding more rhythm. That way her timing can be more consistent as well.
Now timeout called, I think initiated by Moten. And now Giles having a word with the freshman. Payoff to Honta, swing and a miss, and that ties the career high, 12 Ks for Moten.
Vic Moten going down in the zone with this drop ball, and you can tell Honta in her positioning, she is looking for a rise ball. Her barrel is too steep, her shoulders are too flat, and Vic Moten capitalizing.
Cortez will make Moten make a play, but Cortez beats it. The athleticism on display by the freshman pitcher, but the speedy Star Cortez is at first.
Vic Moten coming off the mound, recognizing this hop, going to get it. And then a little bit of a on the run jump throw.
The call of safe at first base. This play is under review.
It's a very athletic play there by Vic Moten.
You could hear the dugout chanting, wanting the challenge. I think if anything, just to give Vic Moten not only the out, but the highlight. I mean, that was incredible from the pitcher.
That is a very rare thing to see. It is so hard to come up off the mound after you just finished your pitch, attack that ball, go forward to it, and then also the jump throw. That's the most impressive part.
I mean, on a night where Alabama men's basketball is playing in the Sweet 16, it's Moten who's showing off some of the skills.
I do think she is safe.
After review, the call is confirmed at first base. Safe.
Either way, a really great slap, and on top of that, a really great athletic play by Vic Moten.
Just good stuff all the way around. It is a base runner for the Bison as they try and claw back here in the 6th. First base runner for North Dakota State since the leadoff hit by pitch in the 2nd inning. Now Belladine tries to take advantage of this opening.
And I think this is exactly the batter that you want up in this situation for the Bison. Belladine being very productive with the long ball for them, 6 home runs on the season.
The wind is really picked up now. 3-0 in there for a strike. Belladine hits it well, but Kristen White is underneath for out number 2.
And Belladine just misses underneath on this ball. Another one of those that may have been kept in by the wind. I think she squares this ball up really well, maybe a little bit underneath, a little bit out in front, but the wind continues to be a factor in this game.
Strike 1 to Maya Bose. Would you consider having Cortez run 9 of 11 on stolen bases this year?
I think so. I think you have to push the envelope a little bit here, knowing that she's very speedy, very successful with her stolen bases, get a runner into scoring position.
One, two, got her. There is the new career high, 13 Ks for Vic Moten.
Vic Moten, a new career high in strikeouts. She's going to go down in the zone with this drop ball. Such tight spin, great work, and Alabama will look to hit when we come back.
Five-1 Alabama looking for a little insurance as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Here in Tuscaloosa, a busy night for the Alabama Athletic Department. And a lot of folks, I'm looking out, have basketball on their phones, utilizing the March Madness app. And Alabama and Michigan currently tied up at 47, approaching halftime in the Sweet 16. Tide trying to move on to another Elite Eight in the Nate Oates era. Michigan, the 1 seed, in trouble. And how about number 5, Auburn, trailing Alabama baseball 3-1 in the 6th inning, not far from here over at the Joe. So a lot going on. You've also got St. John's leading Duke in the Sweet 16. And I just want to commend my partner, Allie Shipman, for being one of 6 people who picked every game in yesterday's Sweet 16 slate correctly in my bracket contest. Good job, Ship.
Thank you. And you know, what is crazy is that was purely luck. You know, I pick based off of feel, based off of vibe alone, and it's paying off.
We'll see if you stay perfect. Garrett Griggs pulls that over to the right side. Warren makes the flip for out number 1. Well, and this is such a great time, too, in sports because you've also got softball. And we mentioned, Ole Miss taking down Tennessee. You've got a real battle, Texas A&M, Texas. 7-5 Aggies in the bottom of the fourth over there. We've got a great matchup with UCLA, Nebraska coming up tonight.
There's so many great sporting events to be watched. Basketball, baseball, softball, gymnastics even. I know my niece and nephew are a huge fan of gymnastics, so that is always on in my sister's household.
Yeah, the SEC controlling the top of the rankings there. Got to think Oklahoma, LSU, Florida, and Alabama will contend along with UCLA for that national championship. The wind is going to slice this away. Nieto tried to track it down. And all the SEC teams in the top 10. I mean, you've got Texas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Florida, Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia's just off the page as well. Nice play by Dean. It's short. The throw was a little off to the side, but Vandegrift is retired for out number 2.
And this is just such an interesting year for softball. There are so many teams that are contenders for that number 1 spot. So much talent across the board. You've seen incredible pitching up and down as well. You've got huge names in Carlin Pickens and Nigeri Kennedy, Jordy Fromm. A really big year for the sport.
And again, his resumes continue to solidify. Weekends like this around the SEC, next weekend, Alabama, Texas, those are going to dictate a lot, not just about the SEC standings, but also the seed line in the NCAA tournament. I mean, you look at Oklahoma, LSU right now. LSU is 3 outs away from doing something to Oklahoma that hasn't been done since 2019 when Montana Fouts did it in the Women's College World Series. Tigers lead 1-0.
And of course, the end goal for everybody is the Women's College World Series, holding up that trophy at the end of the year, and only one team can do that. And there's so many different factors that goes into that, and it starts way before you even get to that point in the season. It starts with how you're creating your schedule before the season. It starts with your preparation in fall ball. There's a lot that goes into that final team standing in OKC.
A lot of credit to Addie Bowers, who's come in and really settled things down. Gave up a couple free passes early, but now a payoff to Brooke Wells. Wells smokes it out to center field. One of the longer home runs you'll ever see her last time up, and now a single that sneaks through the middle, and she's got 2 hits tonight.
Wells, this pitch is a little bit on the outer half. Her timing doesn't seem 100% there, but she is so strong and her extension is so good that she still is able to get this ball up the middle for a single.
And Lauren Johnson will come in to pinch run over at first base for Wells. And an opportunity for a pinch hitter, and it will be the North Dakota native Abby Dukeshire.
Coach Mueller said growing up, Abby Dukeshire went to a bunch of North Dakota State camps, was always around the program, a great player out of the state. He said he's truly enjoyed watching her career here at Alabama.
It'll be a lot of fun watching the celebration for Dukeshire tomorrow on her senior day. And then, of course, you've got the statistical piece as well. You know Dukeshire would love to have a productive weekend gearing in for the back half of SEC play and really show how reliable she can be in the lineup. So that one is fouled away.
Dukeshire has been part of that third base competition for the Alabama Crimson Tide between her, Maddie Hubbard, and Bree Taylor. We've seen a couple different pieces over at third base trying to work through who's going to solidify that spot as they continue into SEC.
Dukeshire's jammed, but that's going to fall. Johnson's too far off second, but the throw was wayward. And Abby Dukeshire has a bloop base hit.
This is a low rise inside on the hands. Abby Dukeshire staying tight, gets a little bit jammed, but continues with that swing. She takes a committed cut, and that's what allows this ball to fall for a base hit.
Somehow Dukeshire found a way to thread the needle of being strong enough while being jammed to get the ball over the head of Dean, but also utilizing that wind to make sure Nieto didn't have a play on it.
Absolutely, and I think a key factor there is that piece of taking a hard committed cut. Sometimes you'll see hitters know that they're going to be jammed. You take a bit of a half swing, and then that leads to a easy line drive out or a pop out instead of commit to that cut, finish it, take a hard swing, and now you've got a bloop base hit.
Kristen White looking for some two-out magic. That was also Alabama's first hit tonight with a runner on base. Now, Alabama has not necessarily felt in danger in this game, but they've left a lot on the table. Now, again, I think the conditions have hurt a lot of these outs, but it's not the numbers that you want to see after such a productive doubleheader situationally on Wednesday. It's going to be a tough play. Throw to first, not in time. Dean did everything she could, but the bases are loaded yet again for Alabama.
Kristen White doing this absolutely perfectly. She's going to drive this ball into the ground and get a extremely high hop. Bella Dean has to jump for it, and because Bella Dean has to jump, it takes just that much longer for her to get rid of the ball, and Kristen White is safe at first.
Now Marley Giles at the plate represents the game-ending run. A grand slam would wrap it up. Giles has a sac fly. No official at bat tonight. Addie Bowers trying to force a seventh. Alabama has manufactured a bases loaded chance. All this production coming with 2 outs. And now a 3-1 count on Giles.
And especially with 2 outs, Addie Bowers needs to know that she has to attack Marley Giles. Any ball put in play on the ground gives you an opportunity to get out of the inning.
And there's a walk. So that gets another run in. Base is still loaded. And out comes Coach Mueller, who I think is not pleased about that last call.
And for Addie Bowers, I think that's a competitive pitch. On the inner half, maybe a little bit too inside.
Well, the crowd recognizes the opportunity for Larissa Pruitt on her senior day. Game-ending run, standing at first. And Pruitt, who's hit the ball very well tonight with no hits to show for it, will have a chance to do something magical.
And it's funny how the game knows, in a way. This is our second time up with bases loaded. You can hear the crowd really excited for Larissa Pruitt on her senior day.
The wind is still whipping. It's a good stop by Della Torre to keep it in front.
Della Torre doing a great job of recognizing that this is a rise ball that's falling out of her hand, so it's almost going to act like a screwball, knowing that it's going to continue to bounce away from her, slides with her feet to get around it. Same thing right there, Della Torre doing a really good job.
A late strike.
And this pitch may be a little outside, but Della Torre back there does a really good job of staying thumb under with her frame.
Pruitt will ground it through the right side. That'll bring in a pair of runs, and Larissa Pruitt makes it 8-1 on her senior night.
Larissa Pruitt getting this pitch on the inner half and turning on it. Does a great job of driving this ball through the 3-4 hole. And everybody in this stadium is so excited to see the senior come through on her senior day.
Teammates excited. Pruitt gave a bit of a dab at the end.
I love seeing the celebrations of all the teams in softball now. Oh, that was a fun one.
Little sprinkler.
Little sprinkler action.
Just really sorting through all the celebrations you might have on file. Well, the game-ending run is now at third for Alabama. Jenna Young 1 for 1 with a double and an RBI on a sac fly. Young in the air to center, but Cortez will make the grab and retire the side. Alabama has built up a 7-run lead, and they're 3 outs away from wrapping it up when we come back. breeze billows here at Rhodes. North Dakota State comes up in the 7th, looking to mount a massive comeback against number 7 Alabama, 8-1 Crimson Tide. Vic Moten has been masterful tonight.
Absolutely. Her spin rate is incredible. She works up in the zone, down in the zone, and with that curveball. And I really think that Coach Lance McMahon has done a phenomenal job with this pitching staff. When you look at the pitching staff as a whole, you'll notice how strong their spin rate is. He develops drop balls, he develops rise balls. He works north and south really well with these pitchers.
And it's a career high 13 Ks for Moten. There you see the pitching coach, Lance McMahon, standing alongside assistant Caleb Bro. And Moten will face 5, 6, 7 in the Bison order. King, Nieto, and Warren. Zoe King has already struck out twice tonight.
Number 35, Zoe King.
Patrick Murphy making sure everything is aligned on the lineup card. Partially, perhaps, the new catcher in the game, Holly Beth Brooks.
Good opportunity for the freshman catcher, especially knowing Marley Giles is a senior this year. Get used to catching somebody like Vic Moten.
So now Moten will face King, and the first pitch is high. Tough play over at short. Griggs with the range. One down.
Garrett Griggs doing a really good job of going to her forehand side. She tracks this ball down, almost fields it behind second base, gathers her feet underneath her. Overall, a very athletic play for Garrett Griggs at short.
And getting a start over there today instead of Salem Hawkins, who I'm sure we'll see again this weekend. She's giving the freshman a chance up the middle. Nieto, high fly ball out to center. Wind is playing tricks, but White makes the grab.
And this ball is well struck by Lily Nieto. And that wind, you could tell Kristen White had to go further than she thought to track this ball down, but she sticks with it, gets underneath it, and hangs in there for the out.
And there's strike one to Taylon Warren. 0 for 1 with a sacrifice bunt. And she went around there, 0-2. Got her. Strikeout number 14 for Moten, and that caps off an excellent start for Alabama here this weekend. An 8-1 win over North Dakota State to start off this 2-game series.
Vic Moten, absolutely incredible in the circle, working all of her pitches. A career high, 14 strikeouts for Moten. She goes down in the zone again with this drop ball, and she is fired up to get that final out.
That career high she set on Wednesday, 12, did not last long. We'll step aside for just a moment. Alabama wins at 8-1. We'll wrap things up on the other side. Alabama starts the weekend with a comfortable 8-1 victory over North Dakota State to move to 32-2 on the year. Gray Robertson and Allie Shipman in the booth, joined now by Larissa Pruitt, who has been given the stuffed animal this time.
Yes.
Larissa, congratulations on the victory and the performance. You hit the ball really well tonight, but in that last at-bat where you drove in a pair of runs on that single, how good did that feel to have that moment on your senior day?
Yes, that felt great. You know, we were hitting the ball pretty well all game, and just the wind in here was super bad. So we were getting a little bit of bad luck, but it was good. We made a few adjustments, hit the ball on the ground, so it was great.
And Larissa, Vic Moten with a career-high 14 strikeouts today. What's it like to play behind a pitcher like her?
Yeah, she's amazing. She brings just so much energy just to the mound, and I feel like we feed off of it. She's great, and it's been awesome just to be able to play behind her.
And it's been a heck of a week for the offense as a whole. You put up all these astounding numbers in the doubleheader on Wednesday. Today, a bunch of hits, 8 runs. What has been the biggest difference since last weekend in Columbia?
Yeah, I think we've just been working hard. Our coaching staff has helped us a ton just in practice and everything. And I think that we've just been able to have something to show for it out here. So.
And as you celebrate your senior day, what has it been like to play for Alabama?
It's been great. It's been a dream come true. You know, growing up 2 hours from here, it was always my dream just to be able to play here. So today meant more to me than they could have known. So I'm just super grateful.
Well, congratulations on an awesome senior day moment, and thank you so much for hopping on with us.
Yes, thank you so much.
That is Larissa Pruitt. A couple RBIs late in Alabama's 8-1 victory over North Dakota State. For my partner, Allie Shipman, and our entire SEC Network crew, I'm Gray Robertson saying so long from Tuscaloosa, where Alabama wins at 8-1, and they'll have Game 2 coming up tomorrow, and you for sure want to join us for that. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. This has been a presentation of the SEC Network. We'll see you next time, everybody. Have a great evening.